But you can see Cosolix is playing the Macho Man that we kind of know them for already from previous tournaments. And we got Wrench with that Sentinel pick. And I'm surprised to see a lot more guitars in 2v2 gameplay. For most players, guitars are known for being a 1v1 based weapon, because there's so many different options where you have a lot of weak points and that can be taken advantage of. So Wrench is playing a Sentinel, but doesn't have that hammer. And then we have Kyzer with the Taros and T1FF with, I believe, a crossover. We'll just say that because I don't know the character, but we'll see. Both those characters are very, very good. T1FF is very experienced with their legend. Same thing with Kyzer, and we'll see how round one goes.
Yeah, so I mean, you see Cosolix, Wrench getting the lance and the hammer. Lots of very interesting gameplay going on, but that's kind of how it is when you're playing a lot of these heavy weapons. The thing with Lance though, and one reason why I've always found Wrench and Cosolix to be an interesting twos duo, that was a very good save, and Kyzer almost gets the opposition. Wait, what did he get? No, it gets reversed, and Kyzer is actually one that goes down. That is 3 people gone. Kyzer goes to save Tiffany, but he tries to get the kill onto Cosolix, who reversed it back onto Kyzer. And in the end, 3 of them died, and then after all said and done, Wrench loses his life. So we basically just get back to where we just started.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's like, so bye-bye stock. We don't have to worry about it anymore. But very nice job coming out of both teams there, trying to make things even with the team having like a 1 stock disadvantage. They just came back in. It's like, yeet, knocked him out. And it's 2 stocks all 4 players are in the red or orange red of their second stocks already. This is very, very close for a big 2v2 matchup.
Oh, that was beautiful coming in from Kyzer. He predicts that he's going to go for the recovery, and Kyzer says nope, and he shuts him down right in his face. And Wrench tries to get back to the stage, but he will not be able to do so. And so now it's going to be very, very interesting. But Cosolix has taken a lot of damage, actually, in the time that Wrench was not on stage. She is now actually in orange, as Tiffany is taking it to task with Wrench right now on that sword.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyzer was really, really hardcore focusing on Cosolix not too long ago, but we do see T1FF get knocked out there by the red team to make it 1 stock all. But Cosolix is out. Wrench has to deal with a 2v1 situation against T1FF and Kyzer. And I mean, guitars may be a decent way of going about it. Guichibu had guitars as well in their 2v1 scenario and did phenomenally well with the speed that it has. But Kyzer's also got that Taros, and it's double axe right now. We see a weapon throw. Wrench is still alive, touches that ledge. But blue team controlling that platform. Even with Wrench coming to it, T1FF says, you know what, down signature. Bye-bye, see you later, adios, see you next round. And T1FF and Kyzer take round 1.
God, double axe is not necessarily what I want to be facing if I'm trying to come back to the stage, but that was a really explosive game 1. I did not expect it to go the way that it did. There's a lot of good things on both sides, I think, but kind of want to go back to something I was mentioning earlier. Wrench is going to switch over to Lucian on the blasters and guitars rather than the hammer. But one of the things I was talking about is, you know, Lucian, or rather Wrench with the guitars, Cosolix with the lance. Neither of these weapons are things you normally see in twos, yet they're kind of trying to find a way to make it work for them, because, you know, lance is very unwieldy, it gets everywhere, and you have a higher tendency to hit your opponent with it, and well, guitars isn't really suitable for twos, but I'm starting to see it a little bit more and more, especially with in this tournament. So times definitely are changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're in round 2. I mean, we're not very far in, and everyone's kind of even. We got Wrench starting to get a little bit low, and you can see that T1FF is keeping an eye on that. But with a player being so low, they could be knocked to the side very easily for more 2v1 scenarios. We see Kyzer getting knocked out that first stock, and Cosolix. Then T1FF comes back with an axe side light into side air, or I'm sorry, nair. And right now things are even between both of these players currently.
Yeah, so what I understand is Kyzer and Cosolix, they both died off stage. I think Kyzer is trying to go for something, but I think he accidentally just misinputted, which is unfortunate. It happens. I think Cosolix is also trying to do something as well, and he just never made it back. There's a lot of situations going on, which I guess brings up somewhat of an important point is, you know, optimizing your options. Again, if you see some of the pro players doing these weird things, it's because they're trying to make the most of the opportunity that they have, and they don't want to let it go to waste. And as you see for Wrench there, it worked out very well. He went for the offstage gravity cancel desig, and it worked in his favor as Kyzer was not able to get back. And that's the difference between some of these players, is having a marginal lead versus taking a substantial lead with some of these options.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it depends on what you do with that lead. You can have a giant 2-stock lead, but when it comes down to using it to your advantage, that's what makes a really, really good player. And right now, Kyzer and Tiff with the double knockout on the Cosolix and Wrench. That was a phenomenal team combo towards the second stock, and a very nice knockout coming out of Kyzer on Cosolix's second stock. So very clean, very nice job. Kyzer's got to be very, very careful though. He's very low on that final stock. He does not want to get knocked out and leave Tiff in a 2v1 situation.
Yeah, and Wrench is obviously trying to take full advantage of it, which he will do. He gets the D air coming in. Kyzer gonna try and make it back. Tiffany doing what she can, but will it be enough? It will. Kyzer finds his way back with the help of Tiffany, and now it's back to a 2v situation. That was impeccable team play coming in from both Kyzer and Tiffany on the same page there.
Oh, and then you see that little 2-piece combo coming out of Wrench and Cosolix on the Tiff, which allows for them to go ahead and knock out Kyzer's final stock and leave Tiff in this 2v1 situation. I'll be honest, if Tiff wasn't in that type of situation, it would not be as close as it is now towards the end. So it was a very nice risk. However, really couldn't do anything when that 2v1 situation, and Wrench and Cosolix go ahead and take round 2 to their name. But very nice control from Tiff and Kyzer, especially off that edge when Tiff went to go save Kyzer, almost died twice because of no jumps. Was able to hit someone and get back to that platform. Was phenomenal. So very nice job coming out of Kyzer and Tiff. But Cosolix and Wrench, a lot of really good synergy and just used it to their advantage. But now we're going into round 3. Same characters. Let's see how it goes from here.
So one thing I actually noticed at the end of the last match, I noticed that both Cosolix and Wrench had did less total damage than Tiffany and Kyzer, yet they still came out on top. And you can kind of, I guess, make your own conclusion from that. But what I get from that is that, you know, they have the heavy weapons. They're hitting them, I would say, a little bit better, but they can't quite finish it off, or they're rather in these situations unforced air, so to speak. So maybe self-destructs or accidents, something like that. And Kyzer just deletes Wrench off the top of the stage. He says no, and he uses Axe to basically give him his own handling. Cosolix tries to finish up what Wrench started, but he's going to miss on that ground pound. He will unfortunately not be able to finish off Kyzer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Kyzer says, I'll show you how it's done.
Oh,
and he does it right back to Cosolix, and he finishes himself off. So that is now a 6-4 lead in favor of Kyzer and Tiffany.
Yeah, and this is huge. This is very, very huge going forward with this. I mean, that's a 2-stock lead. But here's the thing we were talking about earlier. They need to hold that stock and use it to their advantage. If they don't do that, they're going to break right even, and they're going to have a situation where it's going to be a close final. And I don't think that's what Tiff and Kyzer really want right now. It's something that Wrench and Cosolix want to have themselves, but it depends. Right now, Tiff does go ahead and get that Tiff does get knocked out there by the red team with that first stock. And then looks like Kyzer knocks out Wrench, but then Kyzer loses that first stock. But still, they still have a 1.5 stock lead right now.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna take that. I mean, like, even in chess, right? When you're ahead, even if you're going to, you know, kind of take a trade where you lose pieces, trading down, so to speak, I mean, you're still gonna come out on top. You still have a net win. So yeah, Kyzer may have lost his life in doing that, but now Wrench is on 1 stock, and that could be huge if they end up capitalizing on that, forcing Cosolix to basically play by himself, and that's exactly what Tiffany and Kyzer are gonna do, separating them and basically forcing them to play by themselves. A beautiful dodge coming in for Wrench, but look on stage, Wrench is gonna turn that around, and Cosolix handles Tiffany fairly easily on stage. And now it seems to be reversed in favor of Cosolix and Wrench, but look at the damage, and it might tell you a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrench has to be very, very careful here. And you can see Kyzer and Tiff really focusing on Cosolix because of that second stock. But they need to go and knock out Wrench if they possibly can. Even if it's just a weapon throw, it doesn't matter. As long as they go and get knocked out, that's vital. Cosolix might get kicked out of here, but oh! Kyzer was not able to go forward with that. Kyzer's still alive, barely gets the dare, gets the second dare, but Wrench was trying to get the down like ground pound, and then what the f is going on? What?
I don't know, they just saw it low.
Oh my god, the amount of control coming out of Cosolix and Wrench there was phenomenal. I couldn't even put that on the fucking repeat. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know what I just saw. There's a lot of action happening. It's just a simple Brawlhalla moment. But one thing that stood out to me personally was Cosolix going in for that Lance ground pound, and it almost potentially cost his team the game there. Because he went down, he couldn't get anything, and he got his recovery eaten up by the team of Tiffany and Kyzer. So it looked like it was doomed, but Wrench, we all know Wrench was just there on the top, coming in, providing that support, and being able to make sure that even though, yes, Cosolix did die, it was not in vain, and being able to clean up shop. And that is ultimately, I think, why they end up winning. So I'd say very good play from all sides, but I'd say MVP of that last part goes over to Wrench, because if he was in the wrong space at the wrong time, that very well could have been a Kyzer Tiffany game. And for your mental, that is not necessarily a game you want to lose like that, especially if you have lead.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. But now we're going to round 4. Tiff swaps character. Same thing with Kyzer. Kyzer swaps from Teros and goes to Rayman. And Tiff swaps from their character and from Jala and goes to Ragnar. So Ragnar's got that axe, has the guitars. So we might be seeing a little bit more close range style gameplay coming out of both the blue team members. But it depends. I mean, blue team was kind of separating Wrench and Cosolix, but now they're together. We do see Tiff get knocked out there by Wrench. Cosolix with a dare on the Kyzer. Kyzer comes back with that side air, and Cosolix is unable to come back, making things even. So much randomness happening. Like, things that shouldn't happen are happening, and it's even right now. Wrench with that side air knockout of the Kyzer, and might just break even here after one of the blue team members knocks out Wrench.
I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say it's random. I will say Cosolix is going for some options that I wouldn't necessarily say are ideal. And the only reason I say that is, you know, going for these recoveries around gauntlets. I mean, I feel like that's like one of the biggest things in Brawlhalla is like gauntlets is a very lethal offstage weapon, and I feel like you don't really want to use your recovery early. So when he did that, and then Kyzer just kind of took it from him, he's like, well, he doesn't have anything to get back on the stage with. He pulls him down, gets the optimization. There's nothing Cosolix can do. And now Cosolix is in this really weird situation where he's on one stock now while everyone else is around the same. And now Wrench is in this weird position where he has to play almost twice as much to kind of get back to a state of equality, but Kyzer does not want that to happen. He does not want to go down quietly in that good night. Tiffany going in, making the changes, but it's not going to be enough. Gets hit up by that recovery, but it might not be enough. Cosolix misses out on the ledge, and he goes down early, not even 2 minutes down, and he's already down. Wrench is soon to potentially follow. Kyzer and Tiffany making the most of the situation. Kyzer going all the way in. Wrench trying to find a way back up, but he cannot do it. And Tiffany and Kyzer answer back soundly with game number 5.
Yeah, well, game number 4, we're now going into game number 5, and it's huge. I mean, for them to get comboed the way that Cosolix and Wrench did them in round 3, and then for Kyzer and Tiffany to have that big of a lead in round 4, I don't know what the f is gonna happen in round 5. Are we going to be seeing a character swap coming out of Wrench? Are we going to be seeing a character swap out of Cosolix? We do not at the moment, based off that Algrim pick. But it depends. We might be going to a new map. Maybe the map will benefit either team. It will depend. But we're now going to Shipwreck Falls. Same characters as last round. It's good. I mean, we'll have to see how it goes. It's Shipwreck Falls. It's got different ceilings, different floors, different walls in regards to knockout options. So we'll see, but we're not going round 5. This is sudden death, ladies and gentlemen, for losers top 8.
I love this game. I mean, honestly, I can respect both Wrench and Cosolix, as well as Kyzer and Tiffany, because they're going for it. They're not, you know, being half-hearted with their options. They're going and they're trying to make the most of these opportunities, which I can't fault you for, because if you're in a situation where you have an opportunity, why not try to optimize it? Why not try to kill them? Rather than getting a marginal damage lead, go for it all and see if you can get it. Obviously, do it safely. You know, obviously, I think there's some on every side where it may not be as safe, but the idea is there, and I think that's why we're getting such explosive games. I mean, all 4 of these players are very experienced in the game, very experienced in the tournament. Lucian's gonna take the first strike on to Kyzer. These games are so explosive because they're always willing to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, I mean, Kyzer's down a stock. They have to be careful about that. They can't be really losing that second stock, but also Tiff just got knocked out of the first stock as well. And what the heck happened there? Kyzer just popped off and knocked out Cosolix and wrenched of their first stocks. Very, very nice job coming out of Kyzer. But it's even again. It was so weird. Like the way Cosolix and Wrench were throwing around Kyzer and Tip was in such an unexpected way, but it was in a formula that made them focus 2-on-1. And that's what they were able to take advantage of. Red team is such a team-based team regarding like team combos that if Kyzer and Tip separate them, they'll be able to focus on them a lot more. But we see a lot of back and forth. Red's coming in with the neutral signature there onto Kyzer. Oh, Kyzer saving Tip from getting knocked out with that dare. Oh, and Cosolix comes in with a side air with Lance, but it's pretty back and forth right now.
Yeah, Wrench and Cosolix actually were kind of hitting each other. They were trying to go for these team combos, but for both Cosolix and Wrench, they're hitting each other, but I guess it doesn't matter as long as you hit the opposing team. And so Kyzer and Tiffany will now go down to 1 stock each. And this is not just any stock, this is tournament stock for both of them. Kyzer and Tiffany will need to, clutch it up if they want to survive in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And the blue team needs to use their knockout options. They're having a difficult time with it. Kyzer had to swap to their axe to get these knockout options. Wrench comes and gets knocked out of their second stock. Kyzer needs to knock out Cosolix. Tip's having a hard time with their axe. But right now, Wrench is coming in with a fresh new stock, trying to save their teammate on their second stock there. But Kyzer is trying to say otherwise and is really trying to focus on these knockout options. Tip is really getting hit around by the team combos back and forth. Kyzer's the guy coming in saying, you know what, let me get into these scenarios so Tip does not get knocked out of the final stock. Knocks out Cosolix. Tip knocks out Wrench. It is now a 2v1 situation in favor of Cosolix so far.
Yep, and Cosolix tried to go for the silent recovery, but that's not true anymore. I'm pretty sure he's just trying to catch him off guard. But now Cosolix versus Tiffany. On paper, it looks like Cosolix should win this, but Tiffany is biding her time and doing it well. But a side air from Cosolix will say otherwise, and that will seal the deal, as Wrench and Cosolix will advance in the next round, and Tiffany and Kyzer will say goodbye at this point. But that was honestly one of the most fun sets that I've seen in a while. It was explosive, it was fun, it was crazy. There's just so many moments in there where you're thinking, what the heck is actually going on?
He's outside pale color, gonna be going for some pretty commits. The Sig goes through. Oh, what the hell is... Look how far Mate flies from the end light with this team combo, depending on how long he's able to go without drop. He knows that he needs to try to keep his friend alive so that they don't have to turn this into a...